And I now have the honor to invite His Excellency Lamin Dibba, Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources of Gambia. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Chairperson, Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, distinguished delegates. On behalf of the government and people of the Republic of the Gambia, I take this unique opportunity to thank the government and people of Switzerland for the warm welcome to the Gambian delegation. Let me also thank the UNDRR for the excellent organization of this conference. Madam Chair, the adoption of the Sendai Framework marks a new era in global efforts to reduce disaster risk reduction. I have the firm conviction that the theme for this year, Resilient Dividend Towards a Sustainable and Inclusive World, will significantly contribute to achieving the objectives and targets of Sendai Framework. Mr. Chairperson, allow me to talk a little bit about my country. The Gambia, which is one of the smallest countries in the mainland Africa, with an economy highly dependent on rain-fed agriculture, which is highly climate sensitive. This is why the Gambia is so much interested in addressing climate and climate variability. The Gambia is also highly vulnerable to sea level rise, as a 1 meter sea level rise will cover 8.7% of the total land area of the Gambia, including the ports and the capital city of Banjul, 25.5 kilometers of paved roads, and all other harbors and ferry landings along the river. The combined effect of sea level rise and changes in upstream river discharge, erosion of coastal embankments, and changes in natural sediment dynamics pose a serious threat to the natural resource base and livelihood opportunities of coastal communities of the Republic of the Gambia. Hence, predictions are very clear as to what will happen to my country with regards to food security and community livelihood in years to come if we do not address climate and climate variability. Madam Chair, since the adoption of the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction in 2015, the government of the Gambia has committed itself to invest in risk reduction through the improvement of government sectoral policies, enforcement and monitoring mechanisms to ensure that our policies is supportive to the Sendai agenda. As a result, the current National Development Plan 2018 to 2021 has prioritized disaster risk reduction through a series of consultations with citizens, including vulnerable groups. Madam Chair, it is important to mention that the government of the Gambia is strengthening the DRR agenda and has prioritized allocation of more resources to the country's resilience program, such as the increasing budgetary allocation to the DRR through the National Disaster Management Agency. This move intends to increase our more community participation in awareness raising, simulation exercises, timely and easy dissemination of early warning information, building youth in disaster management and environmental sustainability. Through partnership with several groups such as the UN system, the government of the Gambia is supported in several areas that improve our capacity to reduce disaster risks. In 2017, 2018, 2019, Madam Chair, the UNDRR rolled out capacity development to NDMA, that is the National Disaster Management Agency, by introducing this investor for tracking disaster loss, risk profile training on flood and drought, which is target C, target economic losses, and urban risk reduction, and making cities resilient. In addition, Madam Chair, the Gambia is also leading in the reporting of the Sendai Framework monitoring, and the government is also committed supporting this team to execute all relevant assignments to fulfill our reporting obligations. The African Union, the Economic Community of West African States, the World Bank, and the European Union have also provided significant support in knowledge generation and dissemination. Madam Chair, with emerging hazards on rise, the Gambia has been faced with numerous capacity challenges to overcome the situation. This also is closely related with clash of interest over resources, weakened social cohesion, and lack of interest in environmental issues, and lack of alignment of national policy, laws, and strategies with the Sendai framework, and a serious resource gap for institutions that should support the national disaster reduction. As earlier mentioned, these were the reasons why we align all our policies, but yet still there is room for improvement. Furthermore, for the Gambia to effectively deal with DRR issues and climate change, accelerated financial, capacity building, and technological support is urgently needed to enhance our mitigation and adaptation efforts. These challenges have also been complicated the way we generate and process early warning information and disseminate it in the most feasible form due to climate denial, traditional beliefs and practices, and inadequate technology in most parts of the country. We are determined to surmount these challenges by strengthening the national coordination mechanism for disaster management, supporting both academic and professional growth in disaster management. Madam Chair, I'm glad to inform this gathering that through the public reform agenda that promotes economic growth within a realistic context of environmental sustainability, the National Disaster Management Policy and Strategy are both approved for review to match them with the Sendai framework and other continental and regional programs. Madam Chair, furthermore, the Gambia is improving on its overall risk governance and management structures through the finalization of a national emergency operation plan with combined standard operations, reducing risk and vulnerability, making new development programs as risk-informed as possible, and the use of insurance products such as the Africa Risk Capacity Drought Insurance Product for disaster preparedness and resilience building will build our capacity as a country. In all these processes, the National Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction and Climate Change and other national multi-sectoral teams assist the National Disaster Management Agency to promote disaster preparedness and mitigation. The Gambia is further committed to climate investment. Thus, we develop a strategic program for climate resilience through the support of the World Bank and the African Development Bank, which aims to build resilience at both national and subnational levels across the country, with particular emphasis on the main drivers of climate change and also building the resilience within vulnerable communities. Madam Chair, in conclusion, at the end of this meeting, my delegation expects concrete outcomes that will support all of us in furthering the agenda of disaster risk reduction in our various countries and regions and by extension on the globe. This requires global partnership to mitigate and adapt to the impacts of climate change and its related disaster risks. I thank you all for your kind attention.
I thank the